Hi and welcome to Life Impact TV. I'm Seán Brickell, the creator of Life Impact TV and the Life Impact System, which are designed to help you succeed more in your work and non-work lives so you actually enjoy the real life results you so want by applying proven, practical and psychological confidence and communication skills. If you're going to present in public at a work or a non-work event as a speaker, the main speaker or the host, the master of ceremonies, you need to ask yourself 3 questions before you do any presentation or perform in public. If you don't, then it can undermine you and your performance and a lot more. As this story I'm about to share with you will typify. Now, a few months ago, my family and I were at this charming concert in a beautiful part of England, at this grand hall, a huge big hall with lots of wooden panelling, and it was hundreds of years old, and they had an orchestra, they had a choir, and they were playing a mixture of contemporary and classical music. And just before the interval, they were singing the rousing Land of Hope and Glory, composed by the famous 20th century composer Sir Edward Elgar. It's a sort of piece that gets you just here. It's a sort of piece that's been used, if you're English, that has been used by some England sporting teams as their unofficial national anthem. Unfortunately, it got one of the female choristers where she least expected it to. About 12 seconds into this rousing, wonderfully English, noble piece of music, as she was singing along with the 50 other choristers, she passed out. Now, she was about 4 rows up on some quite steep seating. She sort of cascaded down, took out 4 of her female choristers, who in turn, because of the domino effect, knocked out the man on the double bass, this was a charming, spindly, but utterly baffled and stunned-looking man on a double bass, who as a result, when he tried to recover himself as he was knocked sideways, knocked the cellist on her head, which she in turn, out of shock, stuck her bow in somebody else's eye, and on it went. The conductor and musical director shot off stage left, rather than trying to deal with it, and start talking to some woman who was utterly baffled as to why he should be talking to her, and God knows what that was about. And it was a complete disaster. Everybody was taken aback. So what happened? Well, interestingly, there were 2 hosts, the one for the first half, one for the second half. Now, the one for the first half was, how shall I describe him? One of these old school thesps, some wonderful wavy hair, and he spoke like this, enunciating every consonant and syllable. Yes, they've paid to hear in the gallery too, my boy. It was one of those old school thesps. A charming chap who at the beginning of the performance, when he was introducing the whole event and what it was about and what was going to happen, was orating, no doubt, nobly and in the old school theatrical tradition. Unfortunately, the mic wasn't turned on, a mere detail. And it was in the end, so we got to hear him. And he was a great performer. Anyway, he should have taken control as the host. So what did he do? He scurried over to where there was this sort of pile of stunned bodies of women in their 50s to 70s. And particularly to look and to view and to be bemused and even entertained by this normally sturdy, white-haired 70-something woman who'd come bouncing down this seating. Anyway, he was standing and, look at her, unexpected. It was all very amusing for him, and with his back to the audience. And we were going, well, somebody tell us what's going on. Is the woman okay? Anyway, in the end, he didn't take control at all. In the end, the guy who was the host for the second half came up, a really lovely guy, much more natural, and he went over to check on the woman. And you could tell that he had no idea what to say. And he stood up and he said, and the microphone was working at this point, and he said, well, obviously, as you can see, there's been a bit of an incident, an unexpected incident. So English, understatement. Somebody's come crashing down, has passed out, has come crashing down the seating, which we could all see, as the hundreds of people in the audience could see. And then he said, the good news is, and we all hope to hear that, she's fine, she was physically and emotionally and generally uninjured. He said, no, the good news is she's up, and you can see this woman, Mavis, I think her name was, in the background going, Anyway, he said, the good news is, and this is the killer line, he said, she's up and she's answering questions. What? She's answering. When you're in your 70s and you, in public, which makes it even worse, have passed out, have come crashing down some way, down 3 or 4 rows of seating, taken out several of your colleagues, both in the choir and the orchestra, the first thing you want to do when you've been through that, I imagine, is to answer questions. But what sort of questions? So tell me, In terms of the velocity of your fall, what was the drag coefficient measurement? What? What is the ancient Greek for calamity? What else could they ask? I mean, and how many times has Brazil not won the Football World Cup? Where do you stop? What sort of questions do you ask? We will never find out in that case of that particular incident. But, I mean, it got a big laugh, but sadly not for the reasons they hoped it would do. And it was not the way really to deal with it. Nice though they were, it was not the way to deal with it. So, what are the 3 questions that you need to ask yourself before any presentation? Firstly, you need to ask yourself, because when you're doing a presentation, you know what you're going to say, well, hopefully you do, and that's fine. But it's not necessarily what will happen. What you're going to say and how you're going to say it is not the same as what can happen. Because you can give a great presentation, it will blow your audience away, but things can and will go wrong. It's Murphy's Law. What happens if the scenery came crashing down? Remember, your audience started shouting at you, or passed out, or worse. What would you do? How would you deal with it? And if you're not prepared, it can completely throw you, and therefore undermine you, your presentation, and bring the whole thing crashing down, literally and or otherwise. So the 3 questions you need to ask yourself are, what can happen in this event that is 1, unusual, 2, unpleasant, and 3, unbelievable? And when you ask yourself these 3 questions, go through the worst case scenarios. I know what I would say if somebody stood up and said, "Sure, I think you're crap." What happens if somebody passed out? What happens if the scenery came crashing down, the lights burst? I mean, there are so many experiences I've had as a speaker around the world, as well as also a network TV newsreader when you're presenting in front of millions. Things do go wrong. They have gone wrong. There's not time to go into all the times they have. You need to be able to deal with it. You need to keep a cool head. For instance, I was speaking, giving a keynote speech in Greece, and the 2 projectors, one of them blew up. And then I had 2, which obviously grabbed the audience's attention. And then 2 men decided that they'd come on and fix it while I was speaking, and they thought the way we'll do it and not get noticed is by crawling on all 4s. Well, of course, that's not normal for a corporate conference. So I had 2 men, very nice men, I'm sure, crawling around all 4s and trying to fix this thing, which was hilarious. I had to deal with it, and I had to be prepared for it. Now, for instance, the line I use if something like that goes wrong, a little bit of irony, but it suits my style, is for a moment there, I was worried things were going to go to plan. And it shows I'm in control, it shows I'm not fussed by it, and that also, from your audience's point of view, they'll go, if you deal with something really well, that's unpleasant, that's unexpected, that's unbelievable, even though inside you might be going like the clappers, your audience will appreciate you more, they'll respect you more, and they'll engage with you more. And what will happen if you ask yourself those 3 questions, and you are prepared for those 3 things, and you're prepared for the worst, it will help you practically, but just as importantly, it will help you psychologically. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Life Impact TV. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like this channel, then please subscribe to the link you now see on the screen. And please shout about it to your family, your friends, and your colleagues. I'd really appreciate it as much as I hope they would too. And if you want access to even more great resources to help you succeed more personably, more persuasively, and more profitably in your work and non-work lives using proven personal impact skills, then click on the link now to get access to the Life Impact website. And remember, you can achieve what you want to in life, often by daring just a little, especially with the right confidence and communication skills. What you need to decide is simply what you want to achieve to make you feel truly fulfilled. And then, as you often discover how little you have to dare to enjoy the success, the happiness, and the fulfillment you so richly deserve. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time on Life Impact TV.